Hi, today's good person to know is Ricc Webb, his mischief maker at Microsoft, where he's encouraged to push boundaries and experiment all in the name of social media. Originally from South Africa, where his first position was a car showroom salesman for Lexus, Ricc ended up in London taking a position with 1,000 Heads, where Nokia was one of their clients. Nokia ended up recruiting Ricc full-time to be part of their global social media team. And in this video, Ricc identifies the 4 things that are important to him. 1, tone of voice. He likes things to be as simple as possible and describes Bob, who he refers to throughout this video, as a kind of employee you wouldn't want to work with, and then draws comparisons to businesses and social media and says if you are going to respond to social media, make sure it's witty, funny and intelligent. And he shows us his all-time favourite spoof, a Nando's commercial, and says he'd like to achieve something like that in his career, something that's clever, funny and that does good. 2, planning. If you are going to do something, make sure that you have other teams involved, because only then will you be able to carry it forward. 3, insights. Rick's done some really silly things. He's a mischief maker after all, and not all have gone according to plan. But with insights, he's able to identify his mistakes to make sure that he doesn't do them again, but also it's excellent at telling what he does well. And he says it's all about human behaviour, and what he's most concerned about is the sharing of content, and so they change the way they do things so that they can maximize that. And finally, 4, advocacy. Nokia have had a dedicated advocacy program for the last 7 years. They are real people where they can build solid relationships with, and he explains the extent they'll go to make sure their advocates feel special. He says you can involve them at any point in time. Every day is an opportunity, and when Samsung took over Heathrow Terminal 5 and turned it into Samsung Heathrow Terminal S5, Ricc and some advocates dressed up in astronaut outfits and then tweeted that they turned up to the wrong galaxy. It's so funny. I have to say I'd love to be an advocate because they seem to be having so much fun. Ricc said it was really simple to do, it was cheap, it didn't take long, and they got a lot of press out of it. So do away with Bob and welcome Beth, who's witty, intelligent, likes to listen and likes to help, and always gets positive feedback. So taking on board Rick's comment, please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. I hope you enjoy this one, and thank you for watching.
Back in South Africa, the very first thing I did is that I worked for Lexus. I was on the showroom floor every day for 2 years, selling new cars. And I came to London about 5 years ago and started working for 1,000 Heads. It was the beginning of the weird sounding job titles. So I left 1,000 Heads as innovation director. And a big part of the job there was obviously looking at new ways of doing things that were happening within the company and new ideas that we could put out for the clients, particularly Nokia. So getting my hands dirty for over 3 years at 1,000 Heads eventually led to Nokia hiring me to be part of their global social media team. I am now officially a Microsoft employee, and what I take a lot of pride in is the fact that I'm a bit of an idiot, right? I'm very proud of that fact, because everything I do I need to simplify in order for me to understand what it is I'm trying to do. What I've done for you guys today is I've tried to take future-proofing your business with social from the inside out and condense it into a very simple scenario. If you had an employee inside your company named Bob, who was a bit of a lone wolf, he operated on his own. He always said the wrong things. He was just a check collector. He was there to work a 9 to 5, and that was it. Bob also didn't listen to anything you had to say. He didn't take advice. And he added no value to the people around him. What would Bob's future look like at the company? What I'm going to try and explain to you guys is how you can take something like a business, something like a social media team, and something like, Microsoft Mobile, Nokia for that matter, and apply the very same thought to a company. So tone of voice was exceptionally important for us, which is why when we started off in global social, we wanted to make sure that people understood what we were as a human being, right? If they were at a cocktail party and they met Nokia or Microsoft, what kind of person would we be? These are the 3 underlying principles of what we strive to be every day on our channels with our fans, with our advocates, is to be witty, to be fun, to be intelligent. Day 1 was the first day of Nokia being acquired by Microsoft. Very important day for all of us, and as you can imagine, we had fans that were pretty pissed off, we had fans that were really excited, It was very emotional, right? So what happened is that on the day, we were checking the feeds. Microsoft put out this tweet that said everything just became a lot more colorful. Microsoft and Nokia devices and services unite. Amazing. We had some guy come back and basically just say iPhone 5C now on Windows. We responded to that guy and we basically said, don't tell the Lego group that they might get the wrong impression. So making jokes about colorful bricks, linking it to Lego, and as you can see, we actually had Lego respond to us as well with the best comments ever. We'll be fine. You can't build a Death Star with those. You're going to respond to people with a funny response, make sure that it's actually quite intelligent and makes people think a little bit. What I'm going to show you guys is something I showed every presentation because I think it is the greatest thing to happen in marketing ever. 2012, Santam released an insurance ad featuring Sir Ben Kingsley, an ad which Nando's couldn't resist spoofing.
Easy to miss things, to overlook things that are right in front of you. It's part of the human condition.
Easy to ignore important details, especially when they're right under your nose. How often have you looked at a Nando's menu?
It's been brought to our attention that a certain fast food chain has cribbed our commercial. Under normal circumstances we'd be upset, but frankly we're flattered. And we're prepared to overlook this indiscretion if the aforementioned fast food chain follows these instructions. By 4 p.m. Thursday, we'd like the following delivered to this address.
Your order was delivered well ahead of your rather generous deadline, a full day ahead in fact. However, offering Nando's just once to the children, or to anyone else for that matter, seemed wrong. So we delivered again the next day. And we'll keep on delivering Nando's on the last Friday of every month for a whole year.
That's what I want to strive to achieve in my career. I want to be able to do something that's clever, makes people laugh, and not only that, it actually did some good for the world as well. Remember Bob. So the other aspect of Bob's career is that he needed to learn how to work with other people. And that's where planning comes in. It was a great example of a campaign that was run last year. It was called the Lumia 820 Design Challenge. Simple competition, design the back of a phone. If yours wins, you get something cool. And that's something cool for the designer who came up with the best looking back cover was an internship with Nokia. Planning point of view, I can't stress how important it is to just get involved with the other teams, to work with these guys. It's the only way that you're going to keep driving things forward. First day of Microsoft and Nokia becoming one, we actually had a team of 6 people in a room together, all making sure that we were tracking the conversation when it went live. So Office welcoming us to the family. Our response, thanks Office, we share your positive outlook. One thing I do love about Insights is I do some crazy shit, right? And sometimes those things don't go well. Sometimes I think they're the most amazing thing ever. It goes live and nobody shares it, nobody talks about it. And so for me, insights are extremely important because I absolutely love my failures. I love it when I don't succeed in something because obviously I'll never make the same mistake again. But more importantly, I can share with the rest of the team, guys, don't make the same screw-ups I did. This goes back to Bob, our famous employee. And the fact that he doesn't listen, he doesn't take advice. So it's extremely important that you guys use insights, not to just prove why what you're doing is a success, but to learn about what actually happened. This is a very simple measurement framework that's based on people's actual behavior. You think about human beings operating online, they join, which is basically a follow. They see things, which is like a favorite on Twitter. They talk about things, which is communicating with us on a one-to-one basis. But then for us, the really important one there is people share our content. Sharing is extremely important because it's far more important than just a like on Facebook. We noticed that people were dropping off quite frequently at a specific time frame. So we brought all our calls to action halfway through the videos instead, which definitely helped us out. 4 probably seems like a standard one. Advocacy, we all know how important word of mouth actually is. The fact that consumers respect the opinions of other consumers more than they do about brands. We've had a dedicated advocacy program for 7 years, and for 7 years we've been dealing with advocates at events. We've taken them all over the world. We've dealt with them on a daily basis. I'm talking about tier 1 tech sites like Mashable and New York Times, whatever that might be. We're talking about the guy that started a Nokia blog in his spare time. Building a real solid relationship with, again, human beings, people that exist in the world, that are buying your product, that are recommending your products as well. showing people that you care. What you see in the bottom corner here is a Nokia E7, right? The phone was announced. We had a couple of bloggers at this event, and they obviously all tweeted, cool phone, like the flipping motion. They had quite a lot to say about the device on the day. So what we decided to do when we sent that phone to them for trial is we created these sleeves, these blue sleeves with the phone on it. And then on the screen of the phone was their actual tweet. We then sent these sleeves to Stephen Elop, who was the CEO at the time. And Stephen Elop signed each one of those sleeves. So as a blogger, I now receive a phone to test that has my tweet on it and Stephen Elop's signature. So there's no more powerful way of saying, you know, our CEO has read what you've had to say about this phone. Another thing about advocacy is that it's everywhere. Every day there is an opportunity. We found out that Samsung took over an entire airport terminal with branding. They turned Heathrow Terminal 5 into Samsung Heathrow Terminal S5. We thought we could probably poke a bit of fun at this whole situation of over-the-top branding at Heathrow. We got dressed up in astronaut suits. We went to Heathrow and we got a photo in front of Terminal S5 and released a tweet that said, this isn't the galaxy we were looking for. She got quite a lot of press, which we're really proud of. The fact that I spent a very small budget and it took us 4 days to turn this around is what I'm most proud about. Because again, you don't have to spend thousands and hundreds of thousands in order to make impact. You can do it with a small budget as well. What we're striving to be is we're striving to be Beth. Somebody who is witty and intelligent. Somebody who worked hard to help other people around her. She went beyond what was expected of a day-to-day job. She was always willing to listen and learn, and people always had good things to say about her. What would Beth's future look like at the company?